Imagine this, a courtroom filled with tension, the air thick with judgment and whispers. Sofia stands there, her hands trembling as her soon-to-be ex-husband's parents glare at her from across the room. "You're nothing but a gold digger who tricked our son," her mother-in-law spits out, her voice echoing like a slap. "You came from nowhere, with nothing, and now you're leaving with even less." The judge bangs the gavel, finalizing the divorce, and Sofia walks out alone, humiliated, her dreams shattered. But what if I told you that in just a few months, those same in-laws would be begging for her forgiveness, their world turned upside down? Stick around to find out how one woman's hidden strength changed everything. And hey, if stories of comeback and justice get your heart racing like this, smash that like button right now and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring tales. You won't want to miss the next one. Sofia had always been the quiet type, the girl who blended into the background with a warm smile and a kind heart. Growing up in a small town on the outskirts of the city, she learned early on that life wasn't about flaunting what you had, but about making the most of it. Her father, Eduardo, was a man of mystery to most, a self-made billionaire who built his empire in real estate and tech from the ground up. But he raised Sofia to value humility over wealth. "Money doesn't define you, mi hija," he'd say, his eyes twinkling behind his simple glasses. "It's what you do with your life that counts." So, Sofia kept her family's fortune a secret, choosing to live modestly, working as a teacher in a local school where she could make a real difference in kids' lives. That's where she met Marco. He was charming, ambitious, a rising star in a mid-level marketing firm. They bumped into each other at a community event, literally, when Sofia spilled her coffee on his shirt. Laughter followed, then dates, and soon, love. Marco came from a family that prided itself on status. His parents, Helena and Roberto, owned a chain of small boutiques and never missed a chance to remind everyone of their hard-earned success. They weren't wealthy by billionaire standards, but they acted like royalty in their social circle. When Marco introduced Sofia, they were polite at first, but the questions came quickly. "What do your parents do? Where did you go to school?" Sofia dodged with vague answers, saying her dad was in business and that she preferred a simple life. Helena's smile tightened, Roberto's eyebrows raised. They assumed she was from a poor background, perhaps even struggling. "Our son deserves better," Helena whispered to Roberto one night after dinner. But Marco loved Sofia's genuine spirit, and they married in a small ceremony, against his parents' subtle protests. The early days of marriage were blissful. Sofia and Marco rented a cozy apartment, cooked meals together, and dreamed of starting a family. Sofia threw herself into her role as a wife, supporting Marco's career ambitions. She even helped him land a promotion by editing his presentations late into the night. But cracks began to show. Helena and Roberto visited often, always with backhanded compliments. "This place is quaint," Helena would say, eyeing the second-hand furniture. "Sofia, dear, have you thought about getting a better job? Teaching doesn't pay much." Roberto was blunter. Marco needs a partner who can elevate him, not hold him back. Sofia bit her tongue, reminding herself that family was important. She didn't want to cause rifts, so she smiled through the barbs, focusing on her love for Marco. As time passed, the pressure mounted. Marco started working longer hours, coming home stressed and distant. His parents fueled the fire, constantly comparing Sofia to their friends' daughters-in-law who came from good families, code for moneyed ones. "Look at Isabella. Her father's connections got her husband that big deal," Helena would say during family dinners. Marco began to echo them, subtly at first. "Maybe we should think about moving up in the world," he'd suggest. Sofia felt the sting, but she held back her secret. She wanted Marco to love her for who she was, not for her father's bank account. One evening, after a particularly harsh visit where Helena criticized Sofia's cooking as too plain for our tastes, Marco snapped. "Why can't you try harder to impress them?" he yelled. Sofia's eyes filled with tears. I am trying, Marco. But I'm not going to change who I am. The arguments escalated. Marco accused her of being unambitious, of not understanding the real world. His parents whispered in his ear, planting seeds of doubt, she's dragging you down, son. You could do so much better. Sofia discovered emails from Helena urging Marco to rethink his choices. The breaking point came when Sofia suggested they seek counseling. Marco refused, saying it was her fault for not fitting in. My family thinks you're not good enough, he admitted coldly one night. Devastated, Sofia agreed to the divorce, hoping it would free them both. But the process turned ugly. Helena and Roberto hired a sharp lawyer, painting Sofia as an opportunist who married for money, ironic, given the truth. In court, they humiliated her, questioning her background, her job, even her wardrobe. She has no assets, no family support, their lawyer argued. Sofia sat there, head down, fighting back sobs. She could have called her father then, revealed everything, but pride held her back. She walked away with nothing but her dignity in tatters and a broken heart. Life after the divorce was a whirlwind of pain. Sofia moved back to her small hometown, crashing on a friend's couch while she pieced her life together. She threw herself into teaching, finding solace in her students' innocent smiles. But the humiliation lingered like a shadow. Whispers followed her, poor Sofia, dumped by her rich in-laws. She cried herself to sleep many nights, questioning her worth. Why hadn't she fought back? Why hide her truth? Her father, Eduardo, noticed her distress during their weekly calls. What's wrong, mi hija? He'd ask gently. Sofia brushed it off, not wanting to burden him. But Eduardo, ever the perceptive billionaire, started digging quietly. He had resources, private investigators, connections, and soon uncovered the full story of the divorce and the in-laws' cruelty. Meanwhile, Marco's life seemed to soar. With his parents' help, he got a flashy new job, a bigger apartment, and even started dating someone from their approved circle. Helena and Roberto basked in the glow, bragging to friends about how they'd saved their son from a bad match. But cracks appeared there too. Marco's new girlfriend was superficial, more interested in his wallet than his heart. Work stress piled up without Sofia's quiet support. He missed her laughter, her empathy. One day, he overheard his parents laughing about Sofia. That girl thought she could play in our league. Now she's back in the dirt where she belongs. Guilt gnawed at him. Then, the twist fate had been building toward exploded. Eduardo, furious at the treatment of his daughter, decided it was time to act. He didn't go for revenge outright, that wasn't his style. Instead, he orchestrated a business move that would teach a lesson. His company was expanding into retail, and Helena and Roberto's boutique chain was struggling with debts they hid from everyone. Eduardo's firm offered a buyout, generous, but with conditions. During the negotiation meeting, Eduardo revealed himself as Sofia's father. The in-laws' faces went pale as he laid out the facts. You humiliated my daughter, thinking she was worthless. But she's worth more than your entire empire combined, not in money, but in character. Helena stammered apologies, Roberto sweated profusely. They begged for mercy, realizing their chain would collapse without the deal. Word spread like wildfire. Marco, hearing the news, rushed to Sofia's hometown. He found her in her classroom, grading papers. Sofia, I didn't know, he said, voice breaking. She looked up, calm now. You didn't need to know, Marco. You should have loved me for me. He pleaded for forgiveness, but Sofia had grown stronger. I forgive you, she said softly, but I've moved on. Eduardo offered her a role in his company, but she chose to stay teaching, using her inheritance to fund scholarships for underprivileged kids, turning her pain into purpose. In the end, Helena and Roberto signed the deal, humbled and apologetic. They reached out to Sofia, groveling letters in hand, but she responded with grace, "I hope you've learned that true worth isn't measured in dollars." Marco, reflecting on his mistakes, started therapy and distanced himself from his parents' toxic influence. Sofia thrived, her story inspiring those around her. She found love again, with someone who valued her heart over her hidden fortune. And that's the tale of Sofia, a reminder that true strength comes from within, not from what others see on the surface. No matter how low life knocks you, your hidden power can lift you higher than ever. If this story touched you, hit that like button to show some love, and subscribe for more emotional journeys that prove resilience always wins. What do you think? Have you ever hidden a part of yourself to fit in? Drop a comment below.